Hi, my name is Esty Zanetti, and for this sports med project, I had rehab. I chose to do an AC separation rehab because more than once, at least a couple of times, people have come into the training room with AC separation injuries. And when Blake tested me on what I was supposed to do, I didn't know. So I figured this would be a good opportunity to learn. So the AC joint is in your shoulder, and it stands for acromioclavicular joint, which connects the clavicle and the acromion. The way this usually tears is when you fall onto an outstretched arm or fall like directly onto your shoulder or if you get hit directly on it with something hard. So if you look at this picture, it's just the joint that um connects like those little bumps in your shoulder right there, in case you didn't know. So I chose two different surgeries to follow the rehab for because the rehab process was really similar. So the first one is just like a repair instead of a full reconstruction, and this is an arthroscopy um, repair, but it's commonly referred to as like a keyhole repair, which basically they drill three tiny holes into your shoulder and they put fiber tape through the holes into the clavicle and the coracoid process to suture them together. And the type of sutures they use are looped around to pull the clavicle back into position. So it's really minimally invasive. Like, they don't even really open you up. If you can look right here, they just drill those holes and, like, do it without cutting into you. Yeah. And then the second surgery is a complete reconstruction of it. Usually they use an allograft, which is means that it's from a cadaver of some sort. Um, and they usually use a hamstring tendon in order to do this. They basically just resuspend the arm back to the collarbone, and the graft acts as the new ligament. In these pictures, you can see that it's like pulling the clavicle back down to the coracoid process, where the ripped tendon is, so that it like re seals it. So for the rehab, there's four basic phases. You have 0 to 6 weeks post operative, which you don't do much. You just want to do some assisted ROM, but super light. You're in a sling most of the time. Um, you just want to make sure that you don't undo any of the sutures and stuff, so you do really light ROM stuff. Phase 2 is about 7 to 12 weeks post operative. That's when you still do assisted ROM. You can do a little bit of strengthening with some light resistance. It's recommended that you don't do 2 to 3 pounds of lifting. More than that is too much for your shoulder at this point. And then for phase 3, that's about 13 to 18 weeks post operative. You can do some active ROM like abductions and stuff like that. You can do strengthening, but here it says 2 to 3, but I did more research and I think it's more like 5 to 6 at this point in phase 3. And then for phase 4, that's 19 weeks plus post operative, and you're still doing ROM. You can do some isometric ROM to do some resistance. You want to do a lot more strengthening, but now you can start adding in some plyometrics into that too. Firstly, let's go over some ROM exercises. So the program that I was researching, it said to do about 10 to 15 minutes of these exercises and do it 2 to 3 times a day, just because these are super easy and ROM is most important when you're healing. So I have a couple different exercises here that you can use throughout the different phases. I have pendulums, which is when you bend over, it's this picture right here, and you swing your arm, you let gravity assist you. You can go in a circle, back and forth, stuff like that. If you're doing it in a circle, do 10 times each direction. And then I have internal rotation assisted. You want to do that 10 times. This is the one with the towel right here. This one I would not do in phase 1. This seems a little extreme. I would do it in maybe like phase 2 or something. But just helping you regain that upward motion. And then shoulder adductions is active. You're not using anything other than your muscles right here. Just lifting up your arm back and forth. That would be like phase 3. And then shoulder extensions, this is isometric or resisted. So you want to do this 10 times. You're standing against a wall and you're pushing back against the wall to activate that muscle. And yeah. So then comes strength. So for these, I have that you can add or remove weight with resistance bands depending on the pain in the phase. You don't want to push yourself too hard and undo your progress. I have some scapular push ups, which is part of the picture right here, where you're not moving your arms like a normal push up, you're just squeezing your scapular wings together. And then you have prone, T, and Y. You want to do those 10 each. Prone means that you're laying on your stomach, and T's and Y's, there's other letters. It's just basically the shape you're making with your arms, and you're moving them back behind your head and up. Side lying internal rotation is this one over here. You can use a weight or you can do it without. You're just laying on your side and moving your arm back and forth like that. And then internal and external rotation with 90 degrees of scaption. That's this one right here. I feel like this is what we commonly think of. You just move your arm back and forth at a 90-degree angle with this resistance band right here. And lastly, you can incorporate some plyometrics into this. For this, you can do some wall dribbles, which is this picture right here. You just have a ball and you're just pushing it back and forth to the wall and catching it again. Push up progressions. This is like you can do it on a wall, on your knees, stuff like that. It said in the program that I was looking at, it said that once you move down to a stable, like normal push up, you can start working towards unstable surfaces to help it. And then wall throws, this one's similar to the wall dribble, but like a little bit of a different motion. That's more advanced. So you would do that when you're almost ready to get back to your sport. And then you can increase the difficulty by using different kinds of medicine balls. Medicine balls come in a bunch of different weights. So if you feel like it's too easy, you can go back to that. And that is my project. Thanks.